I mean, you're looking at an average bill an average bill increase of for about £400, which is huge, isn't it, for most households? The way to deal with this, I think, is to try to box clever. Let's get some truths about this. Are energy prices going to go down in the near future? No, they're not. Why don't they? Well, when prices rise, lots of people get in on the act. This is including the big tectonic players like Russia and the rest of it. We've been into that detail before. I won't go into it again, because let's get to the crux of what people ought to do. I think, first of all, acknowledge the fact that prices are not going to go down. There will be help offered for people who get into what's called fuel poverty, i.e. when a significant proportion of your household bills is actually going towards doing this kind of stuff, putting the heat on and the rest of it. I don't want to get facetious about this, but when I looked at my energy bills a couple of years ago, even where we live, and for some reason, when we bought this place all those years ago, somebody had installed underfloor heating and in the bathroom, and I realized it was actually sucking in a huge amount of power. Now, I know this is not within everybody's building parts of the house and the rest of it, but the woman at the electricity board, as it was called then, said, why don't you invest in a pair of slippers? Now, again, I don't want to sound facetious about this, but there's lots of things that people can do. But away from that, understand that the cheap energy companies which are going to go bust, and more will, most energy companies just want your money because they are businesses. Therefore, I think the way forward might be to consider, and only consider, get the sums, work it out for yourself, but go into it like a 2-year fixed. So what you're doing is you may be paying slightly more than you're paying at the moment, but it could be, it's good to budget with a 2-year fix because you know how much you're going to spend, rather than getting a big surprise, as a lot of people will when they start getting their energy bills towards the beginning of next year. But it also, if the energy company itself is getting a fixed sum, you're going to get a slightly better deal than you would. I do think that's worth thinking about. I know there are things like U-Switch and all the rest of it, which again we've talked about before. But I think if you get inside the brains of the people who are actually doing this kind of stuff, the people who are supplying the power, all they want is your money. And if they have as it were, a confirmed sum every month, then it ought to be not as expensive for you as paying just on the reading of your bills every quarter or whatever it is. That's what I would suggest. I mean, unfortunately, nothing is going to get cheaper.
Yeah, but it's not possible to. The whole point of privatising the energy industries was that we'd have all these companies, and more competition means more choice, and it drives down the price. But we've actually got less choice now and rising bills. So isn't going to do a lot.
As the chairwoman of British Energy was saying, when she came to the job, she says she's been banging on for months about the fact the business model is not fit for purpose, i.e. what you have caps on the amount the energy companies can actually charge, but you also have in the background rising energy prices upon which they actually service you as a consumer. So clearly the system is broken. But if you look at the big tectonic plates, what's happening at the moment, the supply chain to this country in terms of energy has been so just in time, rather than, as I keep saying, just in case, just in time, that any kind of blip hits everybody. And this is what's happening right now. And these prices are not going to go down.